2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast. The podcast where we talk about video games, nerd shit, and just a couple of guys catching up for the week. I am your co-host, Mike, a.k.a. MC Paperstacks, and with me, as always, is my co-host with the co-most,
Derek, a.k.a. Full Metal Merc. Another week. Episode 64.
Yes.
Keeping them coming.
It is. It's Super Nintendo 64. It's our episode.
Oh, shit. That's the name of the episode.
Or will it? You gotta keep them in
Right.
suspense. I mean, they'll know because they'll see it and they'll go, no, it's later. Or, yeah,
Right.
nailed it. One of those two. What if it was one of those two? So this week, I don't think we have a lot of personal stuff going on, but some cool shit happened. We had the Matrix Resurrections trailer that dropped, the Matrix 4, essentially.
Yes.
And, I mean, we talked about it briefly during the week and we kind of had differing opinions on it. I don't know if that's changed since the last time I spoke with you, but I'll let you go first. Give us your thoughts on the existence of the Matrix Resurrections.
I don't mind it existing, but I don't... Wait, hold on. That sounds terrible. I don't mind it existing, but I don't like it.
You may exist, movie,
Right,
to entertain me.
Oh, man. I was so hyped to see this trailer, and it didn't do it for me.
So you knew the trailer was dropping, or you just heard it was out?
I knew the trailer was dropping. I was like, I was waiting on it. I was like, ooh, Matrix trailer.
Ooh, baby.
And then watching the whole trailer, I was like, this doesn't feel like the Matrix to me. This feels like a different movie, and they just threw the Matrix name on it.
That's interesting.
So,
it's really interesting.
yeah.
So you were looking forward to it, one, and disappointed by it, two. I was not looking forward to it. If I had heard about it, I would have been like, And then when I did hear about it, I went and watched it, and I ended up liking it. Go figure.
Yeah.
Now, we were at different ages and at different points in time when Matrix 1, 2, and 3 came out. And I think when Matrix 1 came out, you were a baby. You were a little baby.
9.
Little baby 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So
But
did you
I
even
loved
get it?
it.
You loved it. So you
No,
got
I saw it.
You saw it?
when-
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He snuck out to the R-rated theater and he saw it.
No, my stepdad was really excited to see it at the time. And he was
yeah.
like, we gonna watch the Matrix. He was like, oh, look at that, Derek. Oh, no. It was so crazy. It was so revolutionary, the Matrix, man. So,
No, the Matrix,
yeah,
just to give props to the Matrix for a second, god damn, dude.
yeah.
The amount of influence there are some things, there are points in time where it's just before that thing happened and after that thing happened. The discovery of fire, sliced bread, you know what I mean? Like the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Matrix.
Right.
For films, it was amazing. And it spawned a lot of bullshit, but it spawned a lot of good, like it inspired people too. I believe there's a lot of good shit out there thanks to the Matrix. But 2 and 3, like I like the Animatrix. That was kind of like a prequel to the Matrix. I thought that was fantastic. We've discussed it here and there on the show. It comes up by virtue of how it was presented. It was very unique at the time. 2 and 3. I did not like 2 and 3. And I don't know if we've ever discussed
like 2,
this.
at least?
I did not like 2. I thought 2 was
Really?
rushed, and I thought it was bullshit, and I thought it didn't have the same kind of care or forethought or planning or writing as the original one. I thought it felt like a cash-in. I mean, I don't think they wrote themselves into a corner necessarily, but at the end of the Matrix movie, if there was going to be a sequel, and the sequel would probably be the liberation of mankind, right? Because Neo found his power or whatever. But you launch into the sequel, and he's already having trouble with agents. This motherfucker literally stopped bullets and blasted off in the sky like Superman at the end of the first film. And then he's just back to, I'm having trouble with agents. And they explained it away with one line. Do you remember the line they explained away why he was having trouble with the agents?
I don't.
He stops. He goes, whoosh, upgrades.
Oh, yeah.
Upgrades? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he didn't say like upgrades.
He was like, whoa, upgrades.
Whoa.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. There was some cool shit and some goofy shit that ended up being cool just because I loved it. But about the sequel, I loved going to Zion. I loved Morpheus' speech. Zion, hear me. And then like the party.
Hear me.
Hear machines. I mean, But the slapdash explanation, the architect, ergo, concordantly, vis-a-vis.
Right.
Fuck that. Fuck that guy. Fuck the meandering plot. Fuck all the loose, bad explanations they gave for the trope. They could have continued with something great, and I feel like they just didn't really know where to go, and the studio was pressuring them to put it. They're like, this is hot. Fucking, it makes money. Dollar bills, y'all.
Right.
There was before The Matrix, and there's after. Now that we're after, make more.
Right.
The Wachowskis were going through their own transitions at the time. I mean, they started as the Wachowski brothers, and then one of them transitioned to a transgender woman, and then the other one followed suit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're both, they were the Wachowski sisters now. And the director of this film seems to be just one of the Wachowski sisters for Resurrections. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I saw the name come up, I was like, ooh, did one of them have a daughter?
Hey, you know what's really gonna bake your noodle later on?
Uh-oh.
The first Matrix is allegory for being transgender before transition.
I have to think on that.
Oh yeah, dude. There are think pieces and theses out there on YouTube that you can watch, and it is insane. But it holds up, and considering the kind of inner turmoil of the writers and directors themselves, you can kind of see that play out. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, I love The Matrix 2 and 3, not so much, and that's why I wouldn't have been excited for 4. But what I liked about 4 is doing, I think, and this is going to be kind of a bad example considering how it panned out. But remember how much everybody appreciated Episode 7, Star Wars. What was it called? Force
Awakens.
Force Awakens. Thank you. Because it was kind of a soft reboot. They continued the story from the previous 6 films, but they were recreating the spirit of the original Episode 4, right?
Right.
And I feel like that's what's happening here with The Matrix. I feel like somehow the liberation that was achieved at the end of The Matrix 3 was, rewritten, or they tricked the heroes. They're obviously back in the Matrix. And so now Neo is going down that path again of rediscovery. Mm-hmm. And it got me excited because I really love the plot of the first film. And I liked all the action. I thought it looked great. And I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, because maybe you can't catch lightning in a bottle a second time. Oftentimes you can't. But it looked like everybody involved, just from the trailer, because the trailer was just cut fantastically to me, it looks like everybody's giving an effort. And maybe they actually have something to say. And I'm hopeful that they do. And I'm just a huge mark for Keanu Reeves. You know how it is. So,
yeah. And he looks like John Wick in this movie, which was what throwing me off.
Here's the thing. Lawrence Fishburne is confirmed not to be in the movie. Okay? Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting little tidbit I learned between the last time we spoke and now. Do you recall the Matrix MMO?
Yes.
The Matrix MMO, Morpheus was assassinated. There was a funeral for him and everything. You could attend it. That was considered canon. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they're going to continue on that storyline that's somewhere in between 3 and now, or online or whatever. And maybe they even weave that into the events of how Neo was captured again. But I don't think Morpheus is going to be alive in this one. That's part of the reason why Lawrence Fishburne didn't come back. I think he was assassinated for all intents and purposes. So that's the theory that's floating out there, and it's pretty solid. But I'm excited. You know what? It doesn't really matter. Low investment, because come December 22nd, it's in theaters, but it's on that HBO Max. HBO
Maxim.
Premium purchase.
Yeah. Monthly premium purchase.
So I'm going to be there day one checking it out, and I'm looking forward to it. And it may be crappy, and if it is, like I said, it's a low investment for me. I'm cautiously optimistic. Wow, I did not expect that we would talk about Matrix Resurrections for that long.
Me either.
But again, before Matrix, after Matrix. I mean, what are you going to do? It's a movie, right? Mm-hmm. So, speaking of movies, we're going to move on to TV shows, because we did get a chance to watch What If, Episode 5. Mm-hmm. I have not spoken to you at all about this episode this week.
Right.
So I'm kind of excited to hear what you think. Now, again, we'll go into light spoiler territory, but for a quick plot synopsis, what if zombies?
Yeah.
The setup is basically when Bruce Banner gets beamed back to Earth with the Bifrost after the Thanos attack, he goes to warn everybody on Earth, but it's deserted practically. And then he sees some of the Avengers, and they're zombies. Come to find out, when Hope and Ant-Man, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, basically, when they went into, what is it called?
The Quantum Realm.
The Quantum Realm, thank you.
Yeah.
To retrieve her mother, they found her mother just like in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but she had contracted some kind of quantum realm disease that zombified her. She then infected the old Ant-Man, Hank Pym. They came back and just spread it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was most certainly wild. And I kind of love this episode. I mean, you could say it was dark too, but it was really hopeful throughout, and it was upbeat, despite the fact that most of everyone who you know and love is dead. And the thing I thought was really neat about the zombies was that they retained their powers and the faculty to use their powers.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
That's wild. So Doctor Strange as a zombie was still doing the circle thing and like making portals. I was like,
Iron Man still like using his armor, flying around and stuff.
Right. Like, so bro, could you imagine? I mean, first of all, zombies, right? But the thing about zombies is, if you know the rules, which is why, of course, Spider-Man's one of the people to survive, because he's out here like, I watch all the movies. Right. But I was like, how do you know these rules? Because if you know the rules, you aim for the head, you just don't get bit, right? We all know that. But how do you stop zombie Doctor Strange from biting you if he can just teleport his head anywhere he wants?
Or zombie Hank Pym.
Yeah, well, we saw how effective he can be, right?
Right.
Zombie Thor.
They're building up Hank Pym to be the ultimate villain.
Right? That's 2 episodes where he just totally fucked everyone because he decided that, that's crazy. But yeah, the story went in a completely wild direction. There was a lot of really cool use of powers of people both zombified and not zombified fighting each other. There was the cape survived. There was a cool moment where it wrapped around, which we saw from the trailers. It was on Spider-Man. And we got a lot of good character interaction with Sharon Carter. Yep, Sharon Carter. Hope. Hogan. Yep, the leader of the Dora Milaje. What's her name? Okoye. Right. Very cool. And then, of course, Chadwick Boseman was in this one, too. Awesome. He didn't star in it, but he was a prominent character. Right. And then this is where I'm going to stop kind of spoiling things, but there was one particular character that was zombified that I was just like, oh, shit. It's a wrap for everyone. Yeah. Because they were hungry, and it didn't look like anything was going to stop them. I'm not going to say exactly how it ends, but to me, it ended on what I would consider to be like a hopeful note, even though it was a dire situation. I really enjoyed it. I continue to enjoy this show. I'm talking a lot, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. Think? You're good. No, I really liked it, man. Like you said, the characterization, the interplay between characters, the conversations, especially between Hope and Spider-Man.
Good stuff.
Like it was good. The action was good. I heard a lot of people saying they didn't like this episode as much, and I'm like, it's a zombie movie. You know what I mean? For all intents and purposes, it's a zombie movie.
It might be it's not my favorite. I still think Doctor Strange is my favorite, but it might be my second or third, at least. Yeah. I like it better than the first 2 episodes, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, they've all been hidden in different ways, so it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's 9 episodes. So we've got 3 more.
Hey, that's good news. I love that. I thought there was only going to be 6.
And I don't think we know... I think we only know one other one, and that's Killmonger saving Tony. That's the only other one that I noticed in the trailer. So there's 2 complete episodes that we have no idea what's going to happen. It wasn't shown in the trailer, so excited to see.
Interesting. Looking forward to it. Yeah. All right, let's update the folks on the games we've been getting into. I'll start with you. What have you been playing this week?
I forget about if I talked about this last week or not, but I was playing Legend of Legaia. And I was, what's the word?
Struggling?
Yeah, I was struggling.
You were grinding it for an hour to gain 1 level?
Okay, yeah. So did I talk about that last week?
You did. Okay. Did you not get any further?
No, I didn't play anymore. I said, fuck this. I'm going to put it down, and I'll pick it back up eventually. Like, I own it, so it's not going anywhere, but...
Yeah, man. Pop on a podcast or something, Listen to some Daily Wisdom with JB Smoove. Listen to our shit. We could use the numbers.
Right. So instead, I was like going through my games. I'm like, what should I play? What should I play? Wolfenstein 2. I've tried to play this game 2 or 3 times, and I always end up getting shot up really badly in like the first in the first level.
I know what you're talking about.
And, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I put it on. Can I please play, Daddy? Which is the easiest mode.
Yeah, with the little pacifier in his mouth.
Yeah, the pacifier and the bonnet on his head.
I low-key kind of hate that. Like, I get that they were going for humor, but fuck you also.
Right. And I still barely got through it.
Damn.
Because like either way, like in that game, you cannot just run. Even on the easiest difficulty, you cannot run through guns blazing.
No,
not
it
trying
ain't
to
that
take
type of
cover
party. At least not in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to, I want to say a third of the way through the game. I was like, okay, I'm feeling myself. I'm doing it. And I get to the end of the subway area where he crashes the train. And of course, for some reason, it starts freezing during the cutscene, cutting up real bad. And then it just stopped. And so I backed out of the game. I closed it. And I had beaten the level already. So it was just a cutscene. And then the game had to update. So I updated the game, and when I went back into it, it put me back at the very beginning of the level.
Oh.
And I said, well, looks like I'm not beating this before Tales of Arise comes out.
Wow.
Because I did not want to go back through that. I hated that. I should have just waited for the update when I started, but...
I hate when that shit happens. I really do.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. Well,
yeah.
I mean, but Tales of Arise, though.
Tales of Arise, though. So let me tell you, it dropped on the same night as 2K22.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up to GameStop to pick up my copy. It was fat. There was so many people there picking up 2K, and I was just like,
wow.
I'm here for something else.
Yeah.
I'm here for my nerd shit, baby.
Mm.
One of the employees was like, what are you picking up today? I was like, you know what I'm picking up.
Do they though? Because I was expecting.
She knows me enough because I've talked to her.
She knows you. Okay.
Yeah.
I was half expecting them to like try to typecast you and go 2K, but at least they
2K,
asked you.
bro.
That was polite.
Yeah. I said, nope, Tales of Arise, baby. And then she's like, okay, good seeing you. And I was like, oh. Because I didn't have my mask on. I forgot my mask.
Oh.
I guess she hadn't seen my full face. So she was, I think she was feeling the brother a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and big juice. And then she's like, oh, them lips, man.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's not the only one feeling you today. It sounds like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I told Vicky that.
You're going to have to like move your head to the side a little bit. I can't fit it in frame anymore.
Right. And I'm not full of myself at all, but I just thought that was funny.
No,
yeah.
it is funny.
But yeah, Tales of Arise. Where do I start? Animated very well. The graphics, amazing. It looks better than any Tales game that's ever come out before it. The environments are not like copy and paste, like the same as they've been in past games. Mm-hmm. Like they each have their own distinct personality to them. So like in older games, you'd walk into an area and it'd be like, oh, it's grasslands. So it looks like just grasslands all over the place. You walk into another section of it, more grasslands. Yay, there's a tree right there this time. But it basically looked the same. But in this game, it's like just a bunch of different structures, no copy and pasted cliffs. The skyline looks beautiful. You can see the second planet by looking up in the sky. You can see the planet and the moon. It looks great. The voice acting is awesome, which, can be hit or miss with Japanese. Are
you listening
games.
to English or Japanese?
English.
Okay.
English. I don't want to do no Yakuza stuff with this, where I have to play through the whole game reading what's going on. But most of all, the combat is like super, super intuitive. They added like so much stuff. There were these things called, I think they were boost arts or something, where if you got your combo up high enough, you could do a move and it would one hit kill the enemy. But it usually be like something real quick, like a quick slash or something. These are very flashy team up attacks that'll finish off an enemy. Each character has a different team up attack with another character. So there's 6 characters. So what would that be, like 12 altogether or something? I don't know how to count. I don't know my math. I just know that's a lot, and I can't wait to see them. I've played it for 6 hours already, and I got it at 9 on Thursday. And at the time of recording, it is, what is it?
Yeah,
It's
less than
8
24
on
hours.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm playing it for 6 hours. I love every moment of it. There's a little bit of repetition in the battles, but that's always in Tales games. But it's so flashy and it's so beautiful. It makes you feel good. It's my JRPG comfort food, as it were.
Cool.
I know what I'm getting with Tales, and this has given me more than that. So, yeah.
That's great.
I
Can't beat
love
it. Can't
Yeah.
beat it. All right.
You should try it.
I should.
You should.
I should.
I won't, but I should.
I probably should. I should do a
Yeah.
lot of things. I should exercise more.
Mm.
Well, all right. So last week I talked about Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut and how I was going to try to play that. I did. It is $30, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, $20 for the Director's Cut and then $10 to upgrade to PS5. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I threw down. You know, I was like, all right, well, fuck it. And I played through, and I mean, it looks great. You know, the 60 frames. I don't know if it was that or I just was having a good day, but I was blocking all the attacks. Like, it took me a second to remember the moves, obviously, but once I got into the swing of things, I was back to being the baddest samurai in the land. I didn't get to Icky Island. I was just kind of, because I was in New Game Plus, and it kind of pulled in my old save file. You know, it's funny, when I imported my PS4 save file, which luckily they just grabbed it from the cloud. They didn't try to, because I think I already had it local on my PlayStation 5 because I've been playing the multiplayer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Final Fantasy VII Remake, just boop, 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 just trophy,
Right.
like for like an hour,
Awesome.
just dropping trophy after trophy until because, you know, I platinumed the original one. And I was just like, oh my God, there's got to be a way to bulk upload these or something. I don't want to have to listen to that and look at that the whole time.
I don't know. That's kind of lovely to me. That would give me all of my, what is that?
The
What was that
dopamine?
chemical? Yeah, all my dopamine.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I already achieved it before, so it wasn't really, it was feedback.
It's about
All
the
it was doing-
sound more than anything.
It was an annoying sound. I'm over here trying to. I was trying to write haikus.
Yishi-goo,
God
baby.
damn it, man. Sa- I don't speak Japanese. Damn it. She could be singing the recipe to like shake and bake chicken for all I fucking know. I don't know. Anyways, I played the Ascent co-op. I went onto the Gamer Friends Discord and I was, you know, like, hey, does anybody want to play the Ascent with me? And Audio Nerd 64 stepped up. Him and Big Nkrumah are out there seeing Shang-Chi.
Awesome.
Yeah, they'll probably do a spoiler cast on it pretty soon. We need to see that. We need to go like the drive. They went to the drive-through.
Yeah.
That's the hack.
Right. Yeah,
Motherfucking
me and
drive-thru.
I think me and Vicky are going to go see it next week. It's our anniversary. So,
Oh, you guys are going to see it on your
Yeah.
anniversary?
well, not on our exact anniversary. That next weekend. I'm going to be celebrating
Next
all
weekend.
weekend. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Oh, all weekend. Ooh.
All weekend, baby.
Yeah.
Hotels.
Must be
Let's
nice.
go.
Must be
Mhm.
nice.
Send the baby away.
But yeah,
Do you know that way?
I hopped on Cedric's file so I can play like with him, and it had me pick my save file when he invited me to the game. So I picked my save file, then I popped in, and it just put me at level 1, like a brand new character, and I was just like, oh, well, all right, whatever.
That sucks.
So we're both at level 1, we're playing, you know, I'm teaching him the ropes or whatever, and I'm having a lot of fun. Playing it in co-op is a bit of a different experience. The game is still tough, but it's you know, you can revive each other, and that can be hard too if there's a bunch of people trying to shoot at you while you're trying to revive.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some bugs here and there. We were laughing about that and had a really good time just hanging out with him. And then towards the end of our co-op play session, I thought back to how I selected my save file, but I didn't get my beefed up character. I got level 1, and I thought, what if I selected my save file to save a new game, and I saved over my old character and erased my old character? And I wondered that out loud. And then shortly before we finished, I checked, and sure enough, I erased my Ascent file, all my progress. A good 20 hours of gameplay at least.
Oh,
Yeah.
guess
And
you're
I was
done
like-
playing that game.
I was like, these are the breaks. Break it up, break it up, break it up, break down. So that sucked. But, you know, I probably will go back to it. But yeah, that put the brakes on the Ascent for a little bit. Because, I mean, back in the day, remember when you had to save and there was no autosave? And you would do something and you forgot to save for like an hour. Maybe not even an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes even a half hour. But it's the half hour where you felt like you did a bunch of shit. You went through your inventory, you managed everything. You're in an RPG, you organized everything, you went and checked out all the shop. You're dipped, you're buttered, you're getting ready to leave the town. Pew! Power outage, and you're fuck this game for 3 days straight. Fuck it, fuck it. I'm not playing it. I'm done. Right? So that, but 20 hours.
Oof. That's what happened to me with Persona 4. That corrupted save file. I was 40 hours in. I was just like, well, guess I'll never see the end of this game.
But you did, right?
No, I looked it up.
Back?
Nope, I just looked it up. I was fuck it, what happened? I was like, who's the killer? Oh, wow, that would have been cool to find out.
Aw. Well, then you should have, the Royal. Royal would have been, because Royal is practically a new game.
No, this is Persona 4.
Oh, Persona 4, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well then shit.
Yeah. That's an oldie.
That's rough. That's rough, buddy. Was that the Vita version?
No, it was the PS2 version on PS3.
Played that Vita. It's on PC.
Yeah, I know.
Get on Steam. Your little laptop, that can run Persona 4. Come on, baby.
Can it?
Man, you better play that PC. Come on. Put it on your Steam Deck.
Not fall to the dark side.
It's really not the dark side. It's fine.
I know.
Okay. I played Fortnite for First Time Tuesdays because I have never played Fortnite before. And I specifically played it because I kept saying, I'm going to go check out that new Martin Luther King exhibit, see what's up. Right. We've talked about it before, how in spirit it seems like a good idea. In implementation, they kind of fucked up. They had emotes on when it first launched, and people were flossing and doing all kinds of weird shit. I learned recently that there's a whip emoji.
Oh, like whipping nene? Or like whip as in, oh no.
Yeah, one of these. So I'll let you work out what that was used for. But they did eventually shut emotes off. When I went to the exhibit, there was nobody there. Because I think I had to use a room code to get it. That was half the battle. Like, if you go and watch my stream, I couldn't even fucking find it. It was so hard. I had to Google it and then, like, read through a few times. Like, it's not... What do you mean the create area? There's no tab for that. It's like a 4-year-old trying to figure out Fortnite. It was the most pathetic thing ever.
It's like you have to get to level 30 before you can see the exhibit.
Right. No, but you figured with all the news and buzz around it, it'd be more prominent. But I ended up entering a code to get into the map for the time was the creator, and I went to the creator's map area. And I mean, I just sat and watched the speech. I hadn't seen the speech since I was in middle school. The 17-minute speech on the hill or whatever. And I was just like, oh, it's a good speech. And then I played some Fortnite for the rest of the time, and I think they put you in with bots until you win your first match, because the people I was fighting against were like stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They were shooting at me. Like, I died a few times, usually from the environment because of the enclosing map. You can't run very fast, so if the map closes past you, even if you haul ass, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to catch up to where it like encloses. It's really aggressive. Like, most battle royales have an ever shrinking map, so you can't just camp on the opposite side of the map the whole time. And that's how Apex worked. But Apex, you could run faster than the enclosing map. So if it came at you, you just ran the opposite way. Not so with Fortnite. That kind of fucking sucks about that game. You really have to be mindful about where you're at and when the map is shrinking, or you're screwed.
Damn.
But I did win a match. I got in first. And I'm pretty sure I played with bots. And then right after I got in first, I played a couple of matches where I think I met real people, because they got bodied pretty quickly.
Damn.
So I was like, there it is. So if you want, I mean, again, we're single player guys. If you want a good ego boost, hop in and play the single player Fortnite where they put you in with bots. I have to admit, I kind of had fun. Like, I can see why people love it. It was enjoyable for me. Even if I was playing against robots, it was still tense. And I was like, it's just me and this other guy. Oh, where's he at? I heard footsteps. Like, I was like, yes. Came out. Boof. You're the winner. And I was like, yay. I won Fortnite. Dinner, baby. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. So I don't think I'll be personally going back to Fortnite, because it's just not my gameplay style. I don't like just doing match after match at Battle Royale. But again, I get the appeal. So I didn't talk about it last week, but I'm still playing Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. I'm gonna play some more tonight probably. I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue with it. I'm gonna decide tonight whether or not I'm having enough fun with it, because the jank is real on that game. It's just, the checkpointing is wonky. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's terrible. Sometimes you'll die and you'll have to do like a large swath of the level over again. And there's just other horror games I want to get to. I kind of want to play The Evil Within again. I think that might be my next Friday Night Frights game. So,
have you played the second one?
Yeah, I never got to play the sequel, and I got all the way to the end of The Evil Within and never finished it. I don't think it was a corrupt save file type thing. I just bored, I guess, or another game came out. Sometimes you're digging a game, but then another game comes out and it just commands your attention. Mm-hmm. I remember I was playing a lot of Dark Souls, and then Skyrim came out, and I picked that up and never looked back. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean, also Skyrim is a much easier time. It's more relaxing than Dark Souls for sure.
Oh yeah.
And there's just, to me, there's so many different ways that you can play Skyrim, and there's really only one way to play Dark Souls, and that's get your ass kicked over and over again. You know, you can see which one I'm more attracted to. And then I picked up a few days ago. I picked up Fire Emblem Warriors again. Just getting back into that. Trying to go for like my ultimate weapon builds, and I have like 4 DLC maps I still need to finish, like with battles in them or whatever. And I played some of that on my Casual Thursday stream too, and was hanging out. I can't stop playing you. I love Fire Emblem. That sounds bad. What's that?
That sounds bad. I can't stop playing you, girl.
Playing you, girl. No matter how hard I try. Yeah. Yeah, I can't get over Fire Emblem Warriors. I don't know what it is. It's one of those games I keep going back to. I mean, Warriors games in general. That's just how it goes for me. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think it might be time to get into gaming news. Gaming news. So, got a few stories this week. Got one big one. I've got a few smaller ones. I do the Kickstarters. Okay, I do the Kickstarters. We know this. Amiibook. Okay, I do the Kickstarters. I got a burrito game, I think from the guy that does the oatmeal. Kickstarter, okay? There was a Kickstarter for hand-drawn game guides for the NES, like a hand-drawn game guide for Metroid, one for Castlevania. If I'm recalling from memory, there was one for Ninja Gaiden. They look them up online. I found it on Twitter, and then, immediately it's like, here's my $70. I want all the books that you're making. It looked amazing. And, of course, they didn't get a C&D, but a lawyer from Nintendo, or not even from Nintendo, a lawyer from one of the game companies that owns the IP for one of the guides he was making, reached out and said, it's great, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And despite all the updates and all the amazing art I've already seen from this guy, and because he was frequently updating me, he decided to go ahead and pull back. So Philip Summers is the guy's name. I think he's one to follow because his art is fantastic. He knew from jump that it was a risk to launch storybook style Nintendo game guides, but he went for it, and he got all the way through. It was Metroid, Contra, Ninja Gaiden, and Legend of Zelda is the ones that he were doing. A fucking hand-drawn Legend of Zelda guide. Oh, dude, I'm so sad about this one. So that's the game we play with Kickstarter and IP and other stuff, but maybe we'll see the idea manifest itself again. Maybe he can get the rights, partner with them. I doubt it. Yeah. But a guy can dream. I hope that they take notice, because this guy, he immediately made all the money. I think he made almost $500,000 before he decided to shut it down. Wow. Because people are like, fuck yes, give us these books, right? So maybe they'll see that there's a market for that, and they can hire him or somebody like him. Hopefully they'll hire him, though. It's his idea. And make those guides, because they'd be fantastic. I would totally get them. So... in even more bad news, although bad news for who, I don't know. Well, you be the judge.
Yeah.
This part is definitely bad news. You know about Texas's recent abortion law that went into effect, challenging Roe v. Wade, and the U.S. Supreme Court's kind of flaccid response to it. And we all saw this coming from a mile away. I'll spare you the details other than that, like it deputizes citizens to sue without any kind of risk anybody involved with any kind of an abortion in the state of Texas after 6 weeks, which is fucking ridiculous.
Right.
The CEO of video game publisher Tripwire Interactive, think Maneater, I think that's one of the games they published.
Okay.
John Gibson is his name. He stepped down late Monday following severe backlash to comments he made in support of the anti-abortion law in Texas. He tweeted out, proud of #US Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. As an entertainer, I don't get political often, apparently still too often though, Yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of this issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. So I don't really feel super sorry for him. We've talked about it before. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But again, we speak on our issues, and we were talking about this prior to recording. You had mentioned that it's not really controversial to stand up against, say, like the accusations at Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
To say that it's wrong. But I would argue that there's still an opposing side to that will challenge the validity of the claims.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I would say I don't think it's right to legislate women's bodies. Obviously, there's an opposite side to that. But unfortunately for Mr. Gibson, these companies are out to please the most common denominator. They're out to please the most amount of people. And most of us are of the opinion that this law is bullshit.
Yeah.
So he kind of fucked up there. But I don't know. I mean, do you have any thoughts on a company ousting its own CEO for making a statement like that? The good, the bad, the ugly? I mean, what does this mean for people voicing their opinions on social media?
Like we said before, just shut the fuck up. You have no stake in this.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for you to send out tweet. Twitter gets people in so much trouble.
Yeah, the thing
and
is,
it's usually just people with money.
I think he does have a stake in it. I mean, he's speaking up for what he thinks is right. Now, there's a lot of bad faith when it comes to the pro-life movement, and I hate to do this because I don't like pro-lifers, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he just didn't stay awake in like 8th grade biology, or he doesn't understand women's bodies. He doesn't really talk to women past like surface level conversations, maybe. Yeah. And he doesn't understand like how damaging and terrible this law is. Maybe he's just like so strictly evangelical and religious that all of the gray area or context out of any situation is taken out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like he literally thinks that it's killing a baby to do an abortion past a certain point.
And here's my thing with he doesn't have a stake in it. What I mean by that is that he's not a woman. Mm-hmm. He cannot get pregnant, so it does not affect him at all.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, obviously it doesn't affect him physically, but like if my wife's pregnant, it affects me. And if my wife, I'll give you an example.
But is your...
No, I'll give you an example. You remember on the episode when Kincaid passed away? It was back in May, and I discussed us losing, some kids and how that was like a rough month for us when we got him. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the kids we had to abort, and it was like 22, 23 weeks. Like it was late, like enough for that kid to survive for a few hours after she was born. Now, with this law, we wouldn't have been able to do that, and Kristen would have died. Right. That affects me.
Yeah.
So with him being on the opposite side of that, the effect to him, I think, is just anybody in his family or his fellow man or women in his life. Again, I'm not arguing for him, but I'm saying like this might be his mindset. Just because something's not happening directly to you doesn't mean that you have zero stake or that it doesn't affect you. Does that make sense?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but like to me at the base, and we could talk about this all day, but to me at the base level, to me at the base level of this argument, if you're not a woman and you don't have to make any of the decisions or deal with the repercussions of pregnancy, having a kid, anything, then you have no stake in this fight, in this law.
You know what?
Like, yes, you can have a family member or a wife that's pregnant or whatever, but that's going to be down to what you two decide as a couple, as a unit. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be a law saying you can't make,
right?
Yeah, there's not a law that should say you can't make a decision on what's best for you and your family.
No, at this point, you're making an argument for pro-choice, and I completely agree with the logic of your argument, and I understand where you're coming from. So I completely agree, and I think it's a good point. I wish legislators thought that way.
Yeah. But besides that, just shut up and get your money, man. Like, you work at a gaming company. Why are you so heavily invested in
religion, personal beliefs? I mean, it affects us all.
You made a game called, you're with a company that made a game called Maneater, where a shark goes around eating people. Like, I don't know. And even if they made a game where it was a person going around murdering people, it's like, okay, yeah, you're you're religious, but you know what I mean? You're fine with depicting
I get what
this
you mean.
level
He's
of,
being
like,
dogmatic in some areas, but he's
Yeah.
loose in others. Like, if he was,
like,
if it truly affected him on a personal level, then he's being strict in this area in his life. Yeah, dude, I don't go to, and this is no shade against you because I know that you are a Christian, but I don't go to the religious for logic, buddy. Like, people get wild when it comes to, like, the beliefs that they have based in faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say based in faith because not based in fact. People often confuse faith and fact. They think if you have faith, it means you believe without a shadow of a doubt, like you've seen fact. Like, this is the truth. And it's like, no, you have faith, you believe it, but you can't act with the conviction that it can be proven because it can't. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's where a lot of people fuck up. So,
yeah.
All right, moving on. What a hot mess of a situation that is.
Get deep in there.
I know, right?
Getting deep in player 2, baby.
Woo, getting deep. Getting deep. Our advice, shut the fuck up. Make your money.
Get your
shut the fuck
bag.
up and make your money. Speaking of making money, Wata. Lotta Wata bullshit.
Lotta Wata bullshit.
So I know you've been following this story closely, and I've been hearing tidbits here and there. For those who are unfamiliar with a previous segment we did, where was it that a copy of Super Mario 64 sold for like 1.5 mil?
Yeah.
Holy shit. And then you were talking about, and I'm so glad you brought this up, that shady shit going down with the people who grade the game versus the auction, the pricing and the ownership and changing hands. And we've learned some more shit. So take it away, man, because this is interesting.
Yeah, so basically a YouTuber by the name of Carl Jobst made a video explaining the situation between Wata and Heritage Auctions and all the dealings on the inside, like who owns what, who helped who create this company, and who's buying these games and pumping up these prices. Here's the thing. If you have a grading company like Wata, who is in business with the auction house, then you can have anybody inside the company buying these games, pumping up the prices, which then gets people to send more games into Wata, which you own a stake in, and that gets you more money. And then you can inflate the price of your service because guess what? If you send it into us, you can sell it for $2 million.
Yep.
You know
and
what I mean?
you very literally, and I know that this is something you saw too. What's the man's name? Is it the president?
Mark Haspel.
Mark Haspel.
He's a chief advisor for Wata.
Chief advisor. He's very literally selling games on eBay, which to me feels illegal or at a conflict of interest.
Conflict
at the very
of interest,
least.
some insider tradery type.
Yeah, this is
things going on. Like this
is wild.
Yeah. I had thought about sending some games into Wata too myself, and then I was just like, I don't know if I did it, I feel like it. I don't know. I don't know the ethics of the situation because it's like if I send it in, is it going to be an actual person that buys it and it's like, oh yeah, I got this and it's going to be worth a lot of money later, or is it going to be somebody in the company that's just like, okay, let's pump this up. Either way, it's kind of like, well, you had enough money to spend on this to pump it up.
And then you're contributing to this weird, fucked up, bubble what they're using to inflate retro game prices. Now, I know buying and selling retro games is your bread and butter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can be done ethically. And I think that's how we became friends because I meet a seller who acts ethically. I hang on to that. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of shady shit in this business. So I think buying and selling, that's fine. That's commerce. We all do it. I've been buying and selling just for myself personally forever, especially when I was younger and I had hardly any money. I was wheeling and dealing. You know what I mean?
Shaking and baking.
Exactly. But the inflated prices on some of these games when there are so many copies out there floating around, it's getting kind of fucking ridiculous. And games aren't even that good. You know what I mean? But and games that are amazing, look at Ninja Gaiden for the NES. You don't have to pay hardly anything for that. Amazing.
Right.
Then you take a shitty game like Back to the Future or something. It's just I don't get it. I don't get it. So
yep. So I mean, we're gonna keep on looking at this story. I'm wondering if if the negative backlash is gonna cause them to kind of back off, or if it just doesn't even matter. And I'm leaning towards the second one. I feel like
if you get
all
rich
this press
enough,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Once you get millions of dollars changing hands rich in this country, you're fine. Nobody.
The government would have to step in for this to matter.
Yeah, and we
And
all
they
know
might-
the
they
government's
just
track
might.
record. We all know the government's
Right.
track record on holding rich people accountable. So I won't hold my
Right.
breath.
Well, there's also the thing of like, are they paying taxes on this stuff? Like,
Are
you
they
know what I
paying
mean?
their dues? Are they greasing the
Yeah.
palms of their local politicians? If they're not, they
Exactly.
should, because that's how
Right.
the rich stay rich and influence legislation that affects the rest of us. America,
Yay.
it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
Yep,
get
yep,
into
yep.
some good news. So the
Yes.
biggest story, the highlight of my week, the highlight of your week, the
Highlight of my
PlayStation
life.
Showcase.
Kidding.
What'd you say?
I said the highlight of my life. Just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't that great? You didn't seem that impressed when I
Right.
called you mid-presentation. You're like, "No, it's okay."
Yeah, because I jumped in like part way through. So I jumped in when I missed the first 2 or 3 announcements, which were announcements that I would have been excited for.
Mhm.
But after, when I jumped in, it was like 7 announcements that were trash.
There was some fluff. Let's go over the highlights. I
Yeah.
got a little list here. I'm just gonna read them off. We have some stuff I'm not so excited about, but worth mentioning, and some stuff I'm really excited about. GTA 5.
Oh, yeah. March
Yeah.
2022.
I mean, can we
Pushed it
do that?
back.
Let's just end the episode right there. GTA 5 is
Right.
coming March.
For PS5. Series X.
Get used to the sound of that word, by the way. March 2022.
March,
Get
yeah.
used to hearing that. So GTA 5, PS5, and Xbox and whatever else. Yeah.
Mhm.
Gran Turismo 7, PS4 and PS5, March 2022. I've never been a big
Cool.
Gran Turismo fan, but I know a lot of people are really excited about that. We got a gameplay trailer for Forspoken.
Yeah.
Now, you and I were talking a little bit about the trailer, and I tend to agree with you. I think that the gameplay itself and the traversal looks fantastic. I think this would be a
Yeah.
really interesting and neat single-player experience. I like that there is a black woman as a lead, Black Girl Magic. I'm into it. I don't know if I like her character so much. Listening to her talk a bunch.
Yeah.
I know that you said she sounded like a white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
and she could be.
yeah, the voice
But she could
actors
also
could
be
be.
black.
Yeah, but I
'Cause,
feel like somebody
Nadine
would have
in
pointed that shit out
Uncharted.
by now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nadine in Uncharted that's if they've released the cast list though.
Mhm.
Actually, you know what? I think she is black because I think I remember
I remember seeing
in
her.
a previous event they actually showed her
They
talking
interviewed
about
her.
the game.
Yeah.
So, or maybe
So,
she's just a
but
face model.
I
don't
mean,
know.
you know, her voice could still be white, as in who wrote her dialogue, right?
Right? Yeah.
And again,
it's
I don't
cringy.
like to get into that too much because black people are not a monolith, and especially as a white person, like you say it all you want. I don't like
Right.
saying when a black person sounds white because I'm like, what are they supposed to sound like? Let them sound like however they want. That
Right.
said, if you're gonna go there, you know, let them have their own voice. Like, go there. I mean, even Dan Houser let fucking black people write the dialogue for San Andreas. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I think Forspoken looks great. I'm really excited about it.
it looks
Ghostwire Tokyo got a new trailer with some more gameplay. I think we've already seen a lot of it, but
Mhm.
it continues to look interesting. I love the horror
Yeah.
aspect of it, to be honest. I don't see raised eyebrows.
It's on my radar for
Mhm.
sure, but it just kind of reminds me of like BioShock, Dishonored,
Same. Like
Deathloop.
It might, yeah, Deathloop. I'm increasingly like less excited about. The harder they push it, I'm like, why are you pushing it so hard?
Can we talk about that for a minute? I feel like they're pushing it so hard because they basically have 2 black leads. They're like, look at us, we've got black people in our game.
You think so?
Come by our game. It's the same fucking thing as the gameplay and everything is the same as Dishonored.
Yeah.
There's even like
Which
some
isn't
of the
bad.
special.
I mean,
No, I
Dishonored's a
know,
good
but
game,
like if
but
you're
I
gonna
get you,
make a new game, make a new game.
Mhm.
But like I saw in that trailer that he used let's just say a spell that linked 3 enemies
Mhm.
together, and then
Mhm.
he killed one and it killed all 3, and I was like, that was in Dishonored. It's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. Literally just reusing like shit. I don't know, man.
I got you.
I don't know.
I got you.
I'm not interested in it.
All right.
No.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland finally got a gameplay trailer.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you suckers,
Yeah.
Tiny Tina, baby. I'm. Hey Ashley, what you playing?
Tiny Tina.
Did you ever used to watch Hey Ashley, what you playing, or Hop, as they used to call it? Look it up on YouTube. You might really enjoy it. So before
Okay.
she became a voice actress, Ashley Birch and her brother, who, worked at Gearbox for a bit, actually, shortly after and I think during some of these episodes they shot, they did a bunch of video game themed short skits, and Ashley was insane, and she used that voice sometimes too, and they were really funny. But the video would always start with her brother walking up to her while she got a controller in her hand. She's sitting in the chair, and he's like, "Hey Ashley, what you playing?" And she's like, "Legend of Zelda 2." So you got to check those out. But when I heard her voice acting for Tiny Tina in Borderlands 2, I was like, yeah, she's basically doing her goofy "Hey Ashley" voice.
Right.
But it looks fun. I mean, it looks very inventive. They showed a lot of different enemy types. There's guns in it, but there's a lot of fantasy tropes too. There's probably going to be a lot of jokes. I know some people who are really into the Borderlands style of humor and others who are not. It's really hit or miss with me. I didn't even try. I have it because it was like really cheap, and I was like, might as well have it. But I haven't even tried Borderlands 3 because I was so burnt out on 2. But this is enough of a breath of fresh air that I might check it out, especially if it gets decent reviews. It's not a day one for me, but I'm eyeballing it, right?
Yeah.
What'd you
I'm probably
think?
not going to play it. I'm probably not going to play
Fair,
it just
fair.
because I haven't played Borderlands. Like, the first and the second game I played like halfway through the second game, but they just, I don't know, they just don't do it for me anymore.
That's fair. All right, and then Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy are going to get a PS5 and a PC release, which I know is exciting to a lot of people, and that's early 2022. Now, early 2022, is it like March 2022? Maybe?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, but Tiny Tina, by the way, that's March 2022.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God, I forgot. Forspoken, spring
March
2022. You know what month
man.
is during spring sometimes?
I think was it
March?
August?
No, that was March.
Was it
So,
August?
March is like packed, dude. All right, and then this one, when I saw this, I was like, this is 100% Derek. Project Eve revealed with gameplay.
Don't you love a reveal with gameplay?
Don't you just love a reveal with and man, they showed a lot. They showed a lot of fights, boss fights, cutscenes, traversal, and different enemy types, set pieces, design, shiny green booty, lots of shiny green booty. That camera was up her ass. I think I saw her uterus at one point. But I mean, it
nice uterus, lady.
Yeah. It was I couldn't tell if it was horny cam or if it was like more celebratory Bayonetta. I'm leaning towards horny cam. But I mean, Japan.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? But the game looked solid. Like the gameplay looked really amazing, and I'm into it. That's one I'm of all the single player action games, that's like in the top 3 or 5 I'm looking at.
Oh yeah. So
good stuff there. And then a little like very very short trailer, but this is why it interested me. Did you see the trailer for Kid Amnesia? Or Kid Amnesia, but with the A like split from the other two words.
I just after it went off, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Right, and it said that Radiohead was working with Epic Games to make it, and you heard like Radiohead singing in the background. And the only reason why that stood out to me is Radiohead is my wife's favorite band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I thought she's just like as a musician, she just really respects them as musicians. She loves their compositions. And I thought, man, if they're making a game and it's like based off their music or whatever, that's huge for fans. You know what I mean? Right. But again, we got zero details. Yeah, maybe she'll play it. I don't know. But speaking of weird shit, then after that, or I don't know if I'm not doing these in order. But sometime during the presentation, we got the final confirmation of rumors have been flying all over the place. Alan Wake remastered. Yeah. And it's coming out real soon, October 5th.
Yeah.
On a PlayStation console for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And it's a PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC that they're releasing remastered. I'm probably going to pick this up. It sucks. I just recently got Alan Wake on 360 not too long ago.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It's going to do what it do.
It's going to do what it do. And then speaking of games that used to be Xbox exclusive, at the very beginning of the presentation, they just dropped it. There was like, kabow! Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic remake. I'm not even going to say arguably. I'm just going to say it definitively. The best Star Wars game of all time. Being remade from the ground up on PS5. Now, some speculated that this was a PS5 exclusive, but I never say that unless I see that motherfucking word exclusive on the screen. If it just says for PS5, to me, that's one of two things. Either it's a timed exclusive, or it's not exclusive, but they ain't trying to give anybody else like their day in the sun.
Exactly.
In this case, it's a timed exclusive. It looks to be confirmed an exclusive at launch, whatever that means. So Series X players, possibly PC, and that's always up in the air. But Series X at the very least. Your day will come. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's going to be there.
Now, the last few stories are probably some of the most hypest. Let's get into Marvel. Specifically, Insomniac Marvel. The best kind of Marvel. I think they showed off Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't care. I'm not talking about that.
They did. Who cares?
That's Square. Who gives a shit? Spider-Man 2.
Ooh.
Spider-Man 2. Trailer was great. We didn't get any gameplay, but, I mean, we could see Spider-Man's there. Miles Morales is there. We got narration from gotta be Kraven the Hunter. Gotta be. Some cool shit. And at the very end, we hear another voice. Very familiar voice. And from the shadows, we see a faint glimpse of a face. Exactly. Venom is showing up. We are ready.
Yes.
We will. Amazing. Like, I'm so
awesome.
excited.
So Venom is being voiced by Tony Todd. And for those of you who don't know who that is, that's the original Candyman actor.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So
he has a great voice. He has a great voice.
Yeah.
Now, from the design, is this the Eddie Brock Venom or is this the Scorpion Venom?
Okay, so spoilers for Spider-Man on PS4 if you have not played it. This is the Harry Osborn Venom.
The Harry Osborn Venom. Interesting. Yes. Okay.
Because you knew this, right?
Well, I saw the stuff at the teasers at the end, but I didn't know necessarily that was for
that
sure.
It was going to be. Oh yeah. No, that's definitely going to be Harry. There's been iterations where Harry has been Venom, so it's not something they're just making up new for this, but it's going to make it, I think, way more interesting than having, say, a Eddie Brock be.
Yeah, because the
Venom.
Emotional connection's already been built up. I mean, albeit off camera. But through the missions that you do for Harry Osborn's like labs throughout the city, and then like their history and the dialogue between him and Mary Jane talking about Harry and all that stuff, there's going to be an emotional core to this. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
But it's not coming out till 2023.
2023. I can wait.
It's so far away.
I can wait. It's fine. We got God of War to keep us warm at night.
Or keep us cold.
Keep us cold. But one more thing before we hop off of Marvel, and this made me super happy. One of my favorite video game superheroes to play as, and one of my favorite kind of superheroes ever, is the little short, angry Canadian man at 5'4", hair all over the body, and claws. He loves a good stogie. We're talking about Wolverine.
Yeah.
It was a teaser trailer. Did you notice, eagle-eyed viewers noticed this, that he was in the Princess Bar?
No, I didn't notice.
Yeah, his known hangout, something that was referenced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier during that series.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, they show the bars torn up. There's blood. People are laying around looking, like they got their asses kicked. He's at the bar drinking. He's got blood on his knuckles. Somebody approaches him. The claws come out. Marvel Wolverine. In the corner, you see Insomniac, and you're like, yes, it's not Square Enix. Yes. And I was talking to you about this earlier in the week. I hope this does really well, and I hope Insomniac just continues to pluck individual Marvel characters for their own Spider-Man style game. Because I mean, it's not going to be a high bar to clear. I think it was much harder to do it with Spider-Man, to make the definitive Spider-Man game, because I haven't met a single person that's into Spider-Man games that would even try to dispute that Marvel Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man game of all time. Immediately. Right. Far and away, too. Yeah. So
Spider-Man 2 is the best on PS2. Oh,
no,
shut up.
No. I mean, even the guy that developed that game, he got a chance to play Marvel Spider-Man. He was like, this is better. This is what we were going for. At the time, we were limited by technology. There's been good and bad Wolverine games, or good and bad games with Wolverine in them. The best, in my personal opinion, will probably still be the one inspired by the bad movie X-Men Origins Wolverine. So that one, which I recently played on Monday Night Brawlers, but that one for 360, the Uncaged edition, the mature edition, to me, is the best Wolverine game. And I hope that this game is going to be mature too.
It has to be.
We'll see how that goes. I hope it will be. There was quite a bit of blood on that bar, so I don't know what that means, but we'll see how it goes. But I have every faith that Insomniac will take, and no shade against Raven, but will blow Raven's game out of the fucking water.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'll be
lead us out of the darkness.
Game. Yeah. The last thing to show up, something that you called an audible on last week, but you're not the only one. I mean, who in their right mind would do a showcase right now and not talk about it or show anything? But we got a pretty beefy trailer for God of War Ragnarok with gameplay. We love a good gameplay trailer. And I just got to know, man. I mean, I don't think we discussed this at all, but I know this is one of the ones you're looking forward to the most. I mean, what you think?
Yeah, it's more God of War.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah, no, it doesn't necessarily look a whole lot better, but that game already looked amazing at the time of release on a base PS4. So it's kind of like, what are you gonna do? It's coming out for PS4 as well, so that's probably why it's not looking as crisp in PS5 as it should. But honestly, when you get down to it, if you've got great gameplay and a good story, you've got me. And it looks great anyway. Like, the graphics are amazing, so there's no lacking on that front. But oh man, this trailer, they showed a lot.
They did
in that story. And afterwards they actually showed some artwork stills of some of the characters, and we got our first look at Thor, and he's a beefy boy. He's a big boy. He's got the beer belly and everything. I was like, okay,
yeah, he looked like he might be one of them jackass boys. I'm Thor, and this is swinging a hammer at your face.
Right. But yeah, it looks amazing. We get to see Freya trying to kill Kratos for what he did in the first game, and it's good to actually see that take fruition, because I was like, okay, but what you gonna do really though, Freya?
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkky. I'm all hopped up on basically.
The
God of War from Norse. What was his name? Thor. Tyr. And then he ends up showing up, and I knew it just from the size of his face, but I was like, he's going to stand up and be huge. Not that means anything to Kratos. He's like, yeah, you're much shorter than most of the guys I've killed.
Exactly.
So, but no, you see a little bit of traversal and different gameplay elements with the Blades of Chaos, I've noticed. And
you can grapple enemies and stuff
here and there. But yeah, it's going to be more God of War, and like you said, I'm not mad about that. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a wonderful adventure. I think it's going to hit just as hard, and they're evolving the relationship between Kratos and Atreus. Atreus is a little bit older, right? He's starting to challenge Kratos a little bit more. His voice got a little deeper. Not as deep as Kratos, but he's trying. Right. So now you can't even call him...
he's a teenager.
Call him boy. He'll have to call him young man.
Young man.
Boy?
Right. What happened to you, boy?
Growing up. So yeah, it was overall, I mean, I left some stuff out that who gives a shit. I mean, no, to be fair, I left some stuff out, and there were probably some games I left out that would be of interest to other folks. I saw some cool things here and there, even some new stuff that I left out but just wasn't really on my radar. So I think it's a showcase worth looking up and then just fast forwarding through the bits that you're not interested in. And that's kind of how I watched it, because I started it like a half hour late, so I was able to fast forward through a lot of it. Like the whole Deathloop thing, I was just like, you skip. But it was great. They put together a great showcase. It was very exciting, and I'm super pumped for a lot of these games. So
yeah, me too, man. I can't wait.
All right, well let's wrap up gaming news and talk about something we set up last week. We had that listener question from John R. So for those who don't recall from last week, Marvel's What If inspired a question: what your video game what if would be, an alternate universe video game history caused by an event changing. Again, his example is Pokemon releasing 10 years earlier on the NES and what effect that would have. And then you mentioned last week, what if the Nintendo PlayStation came out? So for those who don't know, in video game history, Sony approached Nintendo about cooperating with them to create a disc-based console. Notoriously, Nintendo backed out at the last minute, kind of screwed Sony over, and then Sony, out of spite, was like, well, we'll release our own shit. And then the PlayStation 1 was born, and they carved out a huge chunk of the market and even took some game franchises that were traditionally Nintendo exclusive, like Final Fantasy. Because cartridges are a little bit harder to program for and they're more expensive. So a lot of people saw the CD-based option on PlayStation and were like, let's rock with Sony.
Yep.
Now, you had a whole week to think about it. What implications or what kind of alternate realities are spanning from this in your mind?
Nintendo PlayStation, it comes out. It does gangbusters. I mean, it kills the sales charts. Then we're looking over at Sega. Sega's just coming out with a new system, and it's not doing so well. Well, guess what? Now Microsoft wants to get into the gaming business, but they don't want to put their neck out like that. So they decide to partner with Sega, which kind of quasi has already happened because Sega kind of developed a lot of games for Xbox as well. Then you have the Sega Xbox. Okay. And so now you've not got the big three, you've got the big two going at it with each other. And now we only have two choices for companies to choose from for games and consoles, which is not great, but you know, at least we don't get the Dreamcast and the Saturn dying on us, because those were good consoles in themselves. But you know, they just couldn't stand up to the juggernauts that were Sony and Nintendo.
So you think the issue with Sega was, one, they didn't have Microsoft fuck you money, and two, they were going up against the 1-2 punch of Nintendo and Sony. Specifically
for sure.
PlayStation 2.
For sure. If PlayStation didn't come out and it was just the Nintendo PlayStation and that was it, Sega would still be in the game.
It'd have a bigger market share.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It'd be 50-50.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Because then you got you got all those series, or they were on the exclusive to Sega, like Power Stone, Canon.
Fast forward a few years to Smash Brothers, specifically Melee, and all of a sudden, Kratos is in Melee.
Right? But do we even get Kratos ever? You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
I agree with you, though. Nintendo does seem to shy away from first-party mature games. Name a Nintendo first-party game that's mature. I can think of...
Mad World is like the only one I can think of.
And again, that was developed by Sega.
Oh, that wasn't even a first-party game. Exactly.
Yeah, well, it was exclusive.
And again, it was developed by Sega.
And that's the difference. There's exclusives, and then there's Nintendo or first-party developed. Because I could think of Eternal Darkness, but I think that was Crystal Dynamics?
Probably.
I can't remember the developer, but again, that's Nintendo exclusive. It's even celebrated in Smash Brothers, which I think is hilarious with the spirit. Fatal Frame, they had one, but again, that's not first part.
That's not, yeah.
I can't think of
I
a
don't
single
think there
one.
is one.
Maybe there would be no Kratos. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly, man. Are we getting... I don't think Crash Bandicoot exists either.
Maybe not. Well, you know, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, no, because that was... I feel like Crash Bandicoot was Sony trying to go after Mario.
Right.
So they went to Naughty Dog. Right, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, but Naughty Dog could have still come out with their own. I mean, because if they were somehow under the umbrella of Sony, or still somehow like were to develop games, maybe they wouldn't be exclusive to Sony, Nintendo, or maybe they would. But they'd probably eventually make the games they want to make, and that would include platformers. But you're right, Crash seems like such an answer to, we need to have our own quote-unquote Mario. So I get you there.
Yeah. And you also got to think, if Sony is just basically providing some technical and money aspects to Nintendo, they're not really involved in the development of games or going after companies, then Nintendo's just going to do what Nintendo does. Yeah. And that's its own thing.
Yeah. Even with less competition, they always go their own way. To me, it seems like it would be a bad thing. Like, it would lessen the diversity in the games market. To me...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To me, I
never said it was a good thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was... No, you're right. Just a lot of implications. We were thinking about how things, So Sega dying is kind of rough. But again, Xbox came in and filled that void. Then you got the big three. And, of course, PC. And then you got the indie game scene. And Xbox was fostering that to try to get more exclusives and stuff on their side. So that really helped the indie scene grow. Who knows what the indie scene would look like if Xbox hadn't gotten in the game or got in with less competition. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we would have gotten a lot of the things that we did get. It just would have taken a much longer time.
You think so? Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. All right. Well, I did think of a what if scenario. So my what if for gaming history would be, what if the Final Fantasy movie didn't bomb?
Oh.
What if Final Fantasy the movie was amazing?
Final Fantasy really The Spirits Within was amazing.
Yeah.
Sir.
Well,
I'm just kidding. It was not good.
If everybody remembers the effect of that that costly movie, like everybody, I mean, I lauded like how realistic it looked at the time, and now you go back and go, oh, this looks like Reboot.
Right? Reboot.
It bombed and lost the company a lot of money, and so Hironobu Sakaguchi does what Japanese CEOs do, and he's like, I'm stepping down because I steered this ship and I fucked up. And then that also caused the Squaresoft Enix merger, right?
Yeah.
So Squaresoft and Enix probably would not have merged, at least not initially, when they did. And Hironobu Sakaguchi and, by extension, Nobuo Uematsu would have stayed with Square, and they would not have split off and made Mistwalker. So you may not have gotten those exclusive RPGs for Xbox, Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, or The Last Story for Wii. You would have gotten iterations of those stories because they were probably already written down somewhere or in Hironobu's heart, and that would have been maybe future Final Fantasies or other games that Square would have put out.
Right.
Square may have actually just stuck with RPGs and not had branched out to try to publish other games. We may have just gotten better games from Square. And Enix, they, who knows if they would have modernized as quickly or how they would have branched out. Yeah. But I think that the future of Final Fantasy itself and pretty much every game in the Final Fantasy series after 10 would have been hugely different. Personally, in my personal opinion, probably better. But again, the effects of all that is what I've been thinking about all week. I think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Speaking on something you mentioned in there, I think Blue Dragon would have turned out to be a Dragon Quest game.
But it was Mistwalker, though. Why? I mean, are you saying, like, because Hironobu Sakaguchi, like, that was his company. They made that game.
Right.
So how would it be Dragon Quest if he's not working for Enix, or they didn't buy Enix?
I confused myself. I'm sorry. It basically is a Dragon Quest game, though, for all intents and purposes.
Not really. Have you played it? It's nothing like Dragon Quest.
Hell yeah, I beat it.
The only.
Well, I know the character designers.
It's just the art.
Akira Toriyama.
Yeah. It's just the character designer. That's it. Nothing else about Blue Dragon has anything to do with Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest. Like Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest, up until its most recent iteration, is a very traditional turn-based RPG that covers a very specific formula, usually a very specific type of game world. And the there's obviously a turn-based RPG in Blue Dragon. The mechanics, the shadow mechanics, the overworld mechanics, the story, the music, everything else is different. I cannot in good conscience compare the two other than the art.
I kind of want to play that again now.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. One thing I really liked about Blue Dragon was you got this ability where, because you could start battles in the overworld if you bumped into an enemy, which is great. If you activated this specific ability, a sphere would appear around your character. You probably remember this. And if you bumped into an enemy that was weak enough, you would automatically defeat them and just take the experience points.
Yep.
I love like running into low-level enemies, just mowing them down. I thought that was hilarious.
Awesome.
Anyways, all right. So we did get one response on TikTok. So channel best.tick.tacker. Best TikTacker. He wrote in, he was like, what if Mario was released today? And I was like, So NES, you can argue that one of the games that put NES on the map, platformers and specifically, would be the original Super Mario Brothers. Right. It was a pack-in game. It was revolutionary at the time. It got a lot of people into it. There's a lot of people that have really good memories. Mario's released today. You don't have that flagship platformer. You don't have the history of games that followed. And then the Mario Extended Universe. Would you even have Smash Brothers? Would you have have Mario Party games? Would you have Mario Kart? You know what I mean?
You also probably don't sell as many consoles.
Exactly. Would not having, because again, you had Zelda and you had other good ideas too. But when you take Mario out of the equation, if Shigeru Miyamoto didn't launch with that, would he have had enough backing and standing and success behind him to even get the other games out the door? I feel like if Mario was released today, or if it took until today to get Mario out the door, it would either be a Nintendo that's not as strong putting it out, or it'd be another company because Nintendo didn't make it. I know that's a bold statement, but like that's how huge fucking Mario. Like when you think of Nintendo, that's the first thing you think of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
He's ubiquitous with the company. That's like thinking about, Pac-Man in the arcades and Namco, or Sonic and Sega. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, imagine if Sonic or Sega never had Sonic. Would they have survived?
No.
Right? So
nope.
Yeah, it's just something to think about. So
yeah, mascots used to be a big fucking deal.
Huge deal. Huge deal. So thank you, Best Tic-Tacker, for that crazy thought. I don't want to live in a world where he was just not released.
Right.
Give me the history of Mario, please. Thank you. I like how all of our what ifs just turned out worse. I guess not. Mine wasn't. Mine was like, yeah, better Final Fantasies, yay.
Yeah.
But other than that. So, all right. Well, this week then, before we wrap up, there's one question I've been wondering all week, and I just got to know, Derek, what are you feeling?
So I got a chance to check out The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf film on Netflix. That is what I'm feeling this week.
Oh, okay.
It was so dope.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yes, I loved every minute of it. I know you said... tell me, what were your issues with the movie?
I know I tempered your expectations. So if you recall our conversation from last week... Our conversation. You recall I have 3 jobs. If you recall our conversation from last week, I discussed how it almost was kind of too bombastic in the beginning. Like, that opening action scene was awesome, but I was just like... It was great. I'm pulling off of my knowledge of The Witcher and going, is this Castlevania again? Like, it was a lot, you know what I mean? And to me, vulnerability is one of the things that makes Witcher interesting. Like, he's not just a fucking superhero. Like, he can get his ass kicked a lot, and he has to go in with a lot of research. It kind of flew in the face of that, like making Vesemir this almost invincible badass. Yeah. And again, they pulled back a little bit, and you do see some present danger here and there. And then the pacing, how things kind of progressed, and how predictable the plot was, and then a lot of things that they refused to explain or just kind of threw in there that I thought didn't really make a cohesive narrative unless you had all of this extra knowledge as like a Witcher fan. And so I just thought it could have been composed better. I thought that while its parts were awesome, when you summed them all together, they didn't add up as high as I think they should have. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, I get it. I'm not as deeply engrossed in The Witcher as you are, but even not having all that knowledge, like I really enjoyed myself. I followed it along very well.
Okay.
I thought it was paced out great. Like the reveals, while some predictable, someone was like, oh shit, I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but I wasn't expecting. So, spoilers. When the old woman that was his friend, or that
his childhood girlfriend, basically.
His childhood girlfriend, was the old woman. I was like, I didn't even think about that. Because they had been hinting at, like, she had been talking about how the Witchers don't pick fights with the Witchers.
She was defending the Witchers,
dope. Right.
I saw it coming, but only because I know how long they live.
Right. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was pretty dope. And how they circled the first monster that he fights has implications. That's the mystery, like what was going on with that thing, and I think it paid off pretty well towards like the midway point of the movie.
Okay.
And then at the end. But yeah, he was kind of an unstoppable force a little bit. But I mean, what I'm gonna say, I don't like seeing the main character of a show kick ass. Like, I love that shit, and it was amazing. And the voice acting was top tier. I think it was very good.
Yeah, voice acting was pretty good.
Yeah, animation was again very good.
Animation is excellent. That's one of my favorite parts.
Was that the same studio that does Castlevania?
Yep, and Seis Manos.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to talk about Seis Manos.
I love Seis Manos. You shut your mouth. Listen, everybody, don't listen to Derek. Get on Netflix and go watch Seis Manos. It's great. I loved it.
I did not like that show. But
talk about
yeah,
people
man, that's what I'm
people
feeling.
were vulnerable in Seis Manos.
Yeah.
Like, there was some actual peril going on. Like, you were worried about the characters. And this one, I was like, I mean, A, it's a prequel, so I knew Vesemir was going to be fine. But B, I was like, he can't be stopped.
But yeah, that's what I'm feeling this week. I might actually watch it again. Like, with animated movies, I can watch them.
I might watch it again, too. maybe
Yeah, I
get
can
back,
watch
give it
them
another
quite
chance.
a few times.
Yeah.
Without getting bored of them.
Well,
So yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
This week I'm feeling a Twitch streamer and a TikToker, actually. And I found her on TikTok, and what I really like about her is she's a single player girl, kind of like us, girl or boy. We are boys. Single player gamer, right? She plays Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, stuff like that, and she just seems like really warm, really easy to watch, really sweet person. And her tag is @JudySwag with 2 G's. So if you're on TikTok, you can look up Judy Swag, or if you're on Twitch @JudySwag, you should be able to find her pretty easily. Throw her a follow, a few likes on her videos if you dig what she's putting out. Like I said, I like her style. I actually, I think I reached out to invite her on the show. I've reached out to a few other people since we talked to what you should play. And I'm noticing a trend with a lot of TikTokers, and maybe it's just the nature of being, because I think I reached out to one guy and a few women, including Judy, and I think maybe the nature of being a woman on the internet, the guy's pretty receptive, and the women are like, yeah, I don't know. And we've had women on the show before, but even then, like, I've noticed that they were a little bit extra cautious when I would reach out to them, and I get it. It's gotta suck being in this space. I mean, not to shit on gamers, because I think for the most part, a lot of us are pretty decent, but there's a vocal minority that just makes it. I mean, we talked about Twitch last week. The lengths that some of these motherfuckers will go to make other people that are not them have a bad time in this space. It infuriates me. And then it makes it hard for me to genuinely connect with them because they're gun shy. Because is this a psycho that's going to steal my information and dox me and swap me and whatever else?
Right.
And it sucks. But I still think I want to highlight, even if we can't get her as a guest on the show, I want to highlight her channel, because I think that supporting streamers and TikTok creators like this that are putting out really decent content, I think it's a great way to counteract that. So if you're sick of that kind of bullshit like I am, and you're looking for a decent streamer or TikToker to follow, I mean, again, follow me and my shit, of course. But also check out Judy Swag. She's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying her channel and checking her out. So that is what I am feeling this week. And I think at this point, that's a show, man.
Yeah.
Put in a
good one.
Good solid 90. Probably be a little bit less after I edit, but you know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a break to pay those dues to our host, Anchor, and we'll be back to close it out in just a few moments. Don't touch that dial. All right, and we're back to close it out. So, one thing I want to point out, regular listener of the show, he's wrote in with a lot of listener questions, Ron B., actually started a TikTok recently, and he's putting out a lot of videos. Some are gamer related, some are political. So if you're into gaming and you like left-leaning politics, I think he might be a channel you want to check out. His handle is Big Ron Baby, and he's got some funny videos on there and some cute ones with his kids and different stuff like that. So, check him out if you're interested. And speaking of checking things out if you're interested, I hear, Derek, that you have a store where you sell goodies of the gamer variety, possibly more. If our listeners were interested in getting their hands on those gamer goodies and more at a decent price, where can they reach out to you at to find those deals?
They can find my items for sale at ebay.com/str/gamergoodies and more. I've recently been selling a lot of like action figures and stuff. I've got G.I. Joes, Marvel figures, DC figures, so much, plus you name it, video games, it's there. So check it out. I've got about 800 something items listed right now. And on Instagram, you can follow me at GamerGoodiesMore and Twitter at goodies_more. And I look forward to hearing from you and possibly doing business with you.
Excellent. All right. Well, you can find us as a podcast pretty much everywhere. Now, of course, we have our main hub. That's anchor.fm/player2 is enter the pod. We're uploading an episode every single Sunday. Don't miss a beat. Haven't since we started. But if you don't like Anchor, you can also check us out on Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also find us on Facebook.com/player2 is enter the pod. YouTube, player2 is enter the podcast. TikTok @player2 is enter the pod. We have a Patreon. That's also patreon.com/player2 is enter the pod. And of course, we have an email that you can reach out to us, and that is mcpaperstacks@gmail.com. If you have questions, stream suggestions, want to check us out, give us some feedback, we're open to it all. We really love interacting with our listeners, and we would enjoy hearing from you. Me personally, if you want to get at me, I'm on Twitter at MikePetersonAL. I also have a Twitch stream that I'm streaming throughout the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, horror games, brawlers, new games, different stuff like that. You can check me out at twitch.tv/mcpaperstacks. If you want to check out my past uploads of streams, that's on YouTube at MC Paperstacks Plays. And that, I believe, is our show. We appreciate you coming out and listening to us every week. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.